We have seen so much of our national treasure being spent in the drug war, and now we've just, in my opinion, have churned human life into incarceration, trapping into poverty. And I'm not saying that people need to take a personal responsibility for their lawlessness, but what I've seen in Newark is that there's a massive trap in this drug war, and it's not just a trap for the individuals being arrested, it's a trap for taxpayers, communities, and towns.
New Jersey Senator-elect Cory Booker wants to rewrite the war on drugs out of existence, and to do that, he's ready to work with someone who campaigned against him.
There's 15,000 people out of work in Newark. 1 in 3 people in Newark are living in poverty, and Cory Booker's got an imaginary friend named T-Bone.
Tea Party loser Steve Lonegan could not get another Republican senator to come to New Jersey to campaign against Cory Booker, whose ultimate victory in that Senate race was never in doubt. The only other recognizable Republican Lonegan could lure to New Jersey was that champion of lost causes, Sarah Palin. And after he won, the first thing that Senator-elect Cory Booker said about the only Republican senator who came to New Jersey to campaign against him was, quote, "I want to work with him." That's right. Cory Booker wants to work with Rand Paul, and here is why. 7 minutes after ridiculing Cory Booker in that speech you just saw, Rand Paul said this.
African Americans are being denied the right to vote by driver's license. You know where they're being denied the right to vote? They're being put in prison as felons for nonviolent drug crimes and kept there, and for the rest of their life, it ruins their life. I'm not saying I'm for your white kid or black kid or brown kid using drugs. It's not a good idea. But I'm saying a youthful mistake should not keep you out of the marketplace, able to get a job, and it should not prevent your right to vote for the rest of your life when you didn't hurt anybody but yourself.
Do you hear that? Rand Paul got applause from a Republican audience for complaining about what the war on drugs has done to the incarceration rate of young African American men. And if Cory Booker had been there, he would have led the applause.
We're not making our nation safer with this assault on the drug war. We're not making our state less addicted to substances, and we need to change, I believe, radically change the national conversation and begin to talk about drugs, especially drugs like pot, in a different way.
Rand Paul is one of the precious few Washington politicians who has already been participating in that national conversation. Here he is 7 months ago.
But I also don't want to put people in jail who make a mistake. There are a lot of young people who do this, and then later on in their 20s, they grow up and get married, and they quit doing things like this. I don't want to put them in jail and ruin their life. Look, the last 2 presidents could conceivably have been put in jail for their drug use, and I really think, you know, look what would have happened. It would have ruined their lives. They got lucky, but a lot of poor kids, particularly in the inner city, don't get lucky. They don't have good attorneys, and they go to jail for these things, and I think it's a big mistake.
And here's Senator Rand Paul in September.
If I told you that 1 out of 3 African-American males is forbidden by law from voting, you might think I was talking about Jim Crow 50 years ago. Yet today, 1/3 of African-American males are still prevented from voting because of the war on drugs.
Cory Booker believes the place to begin the war on drugs legislatively is eliminating the mandatory minimum sentencing laws that are imprisoning young men for minor drug crimes. And he intends to push it the politically smart way, as a way of cutting government spending. Rand Paul responded to Cory Booker's public declaration that he wants to work with him by issuing a statement saying Senator Paul would be pleased to work with any member who believes that mandatory minimum sentencing is unnecessary. He looks forward to Senator Booker's assistance on this important issue. Cory Booker has called the war on drugs, quote, big overgrown government at its worst. Mass incarceration is very, very expensive, and cutting government spending is Rand Paul's top priority, and it is supposed to be the top priority of all Republicans. If Rand Paul, one of the most conservative members of the Senate, teams up on this issue with Cory Booker, the Senate's newest liberal, we're going to find out how many Republican senators are really opposed to big, overgrown government at its worst.